At work, it can feel like stress is coming from deadlines, meetings, and expectations. But what if the pressure you feel isn't actually coming from the outside world? I'm Luke Richardson, and this is Wave Work Stress Goodbye, a podcast exploring the inside out understanding and how seeing how our minds work can transform the way we experience work, pressure, and performance. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. Welcome back to Wave Work Stress Goodbye. If you're new here, welcome. My name's Luke. I'm a podcaster and a work stress coach on a mission to help corporate workers, people like you, or people in any industry, in fact, discover who they really are by seeing the thinking that they create for what it is. And if you're a return listener, thank you. I really appreciate you taking your precious time to listen to my recordings. So, what is today's episode all about? Well, today's episode is all about financial stress. So, pay rise and financial stress that relates to the world of working. So, pay rises, unemployment with no money coming in, and work salaries themselves in general. So, let's ask ourselves a question before we get really deep into this. Can money make you feel a particular way? It's quite a question, isn't it? And I think we're all guilty somewhat, myself included, of thinking that something that used to be just a piece of paper only or coins only can make us feel a certain way. And let me just give you a little bit of a backstory about me if you're a first-time listener. So I've had various jobs in my working career. I'm 37 now, and when I was at uni, I had my first job at one of the big British supermarkets, one of the big UK supermarkets on checkouts, and I think from memory I was on something like, I think because I was 17, going on 18, I think for a period of time I was on something like £5 an hour. This is back in, say, 2007, all relative, but that doesn't seem particularly an amount of money to get out of bed for. But for a 17-year-old in 2007, earning my own money for the first time in my life, it seemed like a lot. And that was my perspective on it. I do apologise as I do this podcast. I seem to have woken up with a sore throat this morning, so if you're a regular listener, you probably have noticed my voice sounds a lot more coarser than normal, and that's why I seem to have a bad throat, so I'm going to struggle to get through this one, but hopefully I'm doing okay, and it's not ruining the episode too much for you. So yeah, back to the story. I was earning £5 an hour, and for me that was a lot of money, and that was my perspective. But for somebody else's perspective, say a worker who had a mortgage, a family to feed, maybe £5 an hour wasn't enough. And let's ask the question again. Can £5 an hour make anyone feel a certain way or not? Or is it all coming from the person's mind within? And as the years went on, I got my first job after falling out of uni, and I got what was back then a respectable salary where I could move out of my mum and dad's house about the age of 22, something like that, 21, 22. It's not long after university. I managed to get a job that could help me land on my feet and pay my bills. And as the years went on, I, without boring you too much, I got some higher paid jobs, became a project manager, and had, much more bigger salary. So what I'm trying to portray to you is that in my 20 years or so of working, I have been on the wide range of salaries from, the midst of minimum wages to, a respectable project management salary where I can easily take care of my family and afford a holiday or two throughout the year. And the corporate worker who is about to get a pay rise would probably think this is going to change everything for them, and they'll be forgiven for believing so. And why is it that when a corporate worker gets a pay rise, that for, I don't know, 1 to 2, maybe 3 weeks, maybe more, a month, they feel like they're on cloud nine, and then on the same salary, in say 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 months time, a year, they don't feel like the salary is adequate enough. And you could look at what's going on the surface in terms of having the way the world's going right now, and say, oh, it's because the bills are going high, and people are struggling to afford them, and that's very true. I'm not saying that's not an issue in the outside world, that could be a problem for some people, but why is it that they were on a salary of say X amount one time and felt a certain way, and on that same salary in 6 to 12 months they felt totally differently? And that probably proves the point that it can't be the salary that's doing it to us, that's making us feel a certain way. It must be the thinking the person is generating, irrespective of what's going on in the outside world. Because money is a tool, isn't it? Money is a tool that we use to pay things with. And it's no different from toothpaste to help us brush our teeth at morning and night. It's just a tool. But we have used money for generations, and I guess money is something that is something that means one thing to one person and something that means one person to another. I know a lot of people that don't really care about money, can't stand it, want to give it away as soon as they get it for good reasons. I think give it to charity and give it away to family and friends, They don't like money. And other people who simply need lots of money for security and to feel validated. And again, it raises the same question: can money make anybody feel a certain way? Let's talk about someone who's unemployed now. You'd be forgiven for thinking, or if you were unemployed, like I was a couple of years ago, to think that situation is affecting the person. And the positioning of being unemployed can't be causing your kind of, what's the word I'm looking for, insecure thinking. It can't do that. And I can vouch for that, because 2 years I was unemployed. I was unemployed for 2 months. I left my project management position and I was unemployed for 2 months, and I had no money coming in. I had lots of bills to pay, and I'll be honest with you, I was probably the happiest I'd ever been for a long time in my working life, in those 2 months of not having a job. And I'm not saying that was the default thinking. I could have easily got quite stressed and insecure about that, but I'll be honest with you, I didn't. I think I'd been that stressed from working that I kind of welcomed the experience of no pressure in my life that was from what I felt was coming from another source, even though it wasn't. It was all coming from me, but I kind of welcomed that experience of feeling calm and wondering what was going to happen next for me. But that was just an experience of one in a trillion experiences. I could have easily felt insecure, stressed, anxious, the feeling of not being enough. But I didn't. I seemed to choose calm and collectedness and peace, and that's what I went with. And the family members around me that was having to support me financially because I didn't have a job, they were the ones who were stressed and anxious and kind of insecure about the situation. So it can't have been the unemployment position I was in that was causing that experience for me. It had to be the experience running through me. And the same goes for you if you're in a position of a certain salary. Think about it. If you've been on X amount of money for a year, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, I can guarantee, and be honest with yourself, I can guarantee that you have had different experiences of that salary. You've thought it's not enough. You thought, oh, actually, it's okay. It's actually quite comfortable. And it's helping me pay my bills. It is actually quite enough. And you've had other experiences like, when will they give me a pay rise? And it's not the working salary you have that's doing that to you. It's your thinking that changes moment to moment, because that's how life works. It's a transient experience that we have that's never fixed, and it's constantly changing, irrespective of our personal positions and our experience of the outside world. It will always change. And I bet you've also had an experience of that salary where it is enough. I think about it, you probably thought it was enough when you first got given the job, or given the pay rise, or the salary when you joined the company. And pay rises are the same. I've been guilty of it as well in my 20-year span of working in corporate positions. Well, not quite 20 years, but about 15 years. So you think you want a pay rise, you want a pay rise, and then the next minute you don't. You think, oh, what? I don't need a pay rise. I'm okay. And the position outside hasn't changed. You've still got bills to pay. You've still got a mortgage, a family to feed, a husband and wife to support. But your experience and desires change. And money is very taboo. Money is something that we think and influences and affects us, but in actual fact, like anything in the outside world, it doesn't. Our thinking changes. And that's the point I wanted to get across on this episode, like I do on all episodes that I do, all subject matters. But I wanted to do an episode about money because it's a very strong topic, especially now in this day and age where it's getting quite tighter for a lot of families. Life is something that flows through you. It doesn't come at you from outside sources. And when you understand that nothing out there, money included, can do anything to you, to your experience of life, when you can let life flow through you, then that gives a space and wisdom for you to do the right thing. And there's all sorts of things when you allow that space to come in, that wisdom to come in. That could be to think, oh, actually this job is actually good for me right now. I will stay in it because, it's paying the bills. It's a means to an end for a year or two while I get my side hustle going in the background. I've worked hard for this career. I'd be stupid to leave it now. And it's giving my family this, and this. Or the opposite, it could give you the space and wisdom to leave a job. I'm not saying you should stay in a job, because this is what I want to really. It's a really important point I want to get across right now. Because I teach you how life really works. I'm not saying that you should stay in a job because it's getting too much, or your workplace is taking the piss with you. I'm not saying that. I'm here to point out your experience to make it easier for you to see what's really going on, to help you make the right choice. And that choice might also be to have the space come in to leave a job, to think, I've never been so clear about anything in my life, that this decision's not being made due to insecure thinking. The insecure thinking's gone. I've really had time to reflect on this. Now the thinking has evaporated, and it's time to leave the past as new and look for something else. After so many years at a company. That's what I did. I had 13 years at a company, 13 and a half years to be specifically, and it got to a point that I let my thinking drop, and I thought, yeah, now's the right time for me to leave and do something new. And what I'm doing, teaching you guys, is part of that. And you have to understand that you are not the victim of your positions at work or with money when you understand how the experience of life is truly working for you. So if you're somebody who's, struggling with money or comfortable with money still, but they come to a money still and had a pay rise, but are still having insecure thinking about that. So if you're someone who's struggling with money, has enough money but still feeling insecure, or wanting a pay rise but not getting one, or wondering why you're feeling so stressed about it, or if you are someone who's thinking there's something more to life than just stress and insecure thinking, then this episode was for you. And if you think one day you might want to work with me, then, and you're that type of person, then do get in touch. Give me an email at onethoughtaway1988@gmail.com. That's onethoughtaway1988@gmail.com. If you didn't quite catch that, it will be in the description on the episode. And yes, if you are someone who's wanting to, have one-to-one coaching or want to know more about misunderstanding, then do get in touch. I do offer a 15-minute free conversation to see if we're a good fit with one another. So if that's something you'd like to exercise, do let me know, and we can have a little brief informal chat about your situation and see if we'd be a good match. I also have I'm also on Instagram and LinkedIn. So if you are on those and you've got me on there, do send me a DM that way if you don't want to send me an email. I also have a free work stress guide as well, and all you've got to do is find the link in this podcast description, put your email address in, sign up, and it will give you a short video welcoming you to the free PDF guide. And it's about an 8-page document which you can enjoy at your leisure. I hope that was a good episode. I do apologise because my voice is starting to go a little bit now. Hopefully I got the message across to you well, and I'll speak to you next time. And do get in touch if you're that type of person and want a specific coaching session or a 15-minute chat with me. Take care now. I'll speak to you soon. Bye bye. If this episode resonated with you, then feel free to connect with me on Instagram or LinkedIn, where I share more insights on work stress, leadership pressure, and the inside out understanding. You can also contact me directly via email at onethoughtaway1988@gmail.com. And if you're navigating pressure in your own career, you can download my free work stress guide using the link in the show notes. Until next time, take care, and remember, work stress might feel real in the moment, but it isn't who you really are. Thank you.